Do, do, do. Nope, that's not right. That's not right at all. Now live on your channel, Crawler Canyon Live. I would be worried if one day I got that email and I wasn't in here. That would be something. So-and-so is live on your channel, and it's not you. But it is me. Still, I'm never going to get used to the not knowing whether or not I'm actually here. I assume I'm here. I see... until I see the thing up there start to give me numbers, and the delay on that is like 45 seconds to a minute. So I'm just doing the things. So killing and filling here. Okay, someone has acknowledged that I'm here, so I must be here. Things I would ordinarily be doing anyway, but I'm sure some are aware that the hyperfixation of the week is I want that metal shed down so bad. I want it down so bad. I got the stuff cleaned out of it. I got the last of my stuff taken out of it. We just need the stuff from my brother-in-law out of there. And then that thing's coming down. I'd like to have it down within the week. Then I can get the fence up. Then I can get to building the new obstacle. There's an obstacle that's going to go there. Yeah, I dug a hole for a pond. And I'm going to make that pond too. Is today bicycle day? I didn't know. So I have a couple sets of tires that I need to move around, and I told myself to do it before, and instead I went outside and I started painting, and I hate paint. I don't like to paint RC car bodies. I really don't like to paint buildings, and unfortunately, the opposite side of that is I know what happens when you don't paint the buildings here in the desert. The wood goes through the like a desert version of the freeze thaw cycle, and everything just falls apart. So I'm painting the whole thing. 35 degrees in Minnesota. Nope. It is 68 degrees inside the building right now, and about the same outside. We're doing pretty good. I should have opened my front door, let some nice outside to the inside. I might wander over and do that. What I did forget to do above all things is clean these off, but we'll be fine. I figured these are a perfect choice to put on whatever his name works out to be, 5B. The Blanco Bronco, Baseline's baby brother, the Blanco Bronco. Because I don't have anything else in mind to run them on. And they're pretty good. And ooh, I think I just did a bad thing. Is it possible to get your thumbnail up before going live? I can't find the stream until you actually go live. I don't know. Maybe. I think I just need to pre-make a thumbnail. Oh, that's stripped so bad. And you can see by the wounds on the inside of this wheel, that's not the first time we've stripped one out. Let us hope that the Negosaurus can rescue us. I think it's turning. I think we're getting there. Let's try it. The name, as someone pointed out in the comments, the name can't be OJ because OJ had a 90s Bronco, and it's right over here. It doesn't have a place to park. Is like a what, 79? So it's pre-OJ. I love, there was a great conspiracy theory that about the Buffalo Bills. Well, not a conspiracy theory, just a humorous observation, I guess, that we wouldn't have the Kardashians if the Buffalo Bills had won a particular game, but because they lost that game, they got a higher draft pick and they drafted OJ, and then it's just this cascading effect of things that eventually ended up with us getting the Kardashians. So there would have been no Kardashians had the Bills won that. So it's all the Buffalo Bills' fault. If they had won that game, we would be Kardashian free. Hey, look, 64 in Ohio. That means Ohio is almost like California right now. Yeah, we had a couple days when I was doing the framing on the newest shed. One day it was 96 degrees. Oh, the amount of beadlock screws that I strip out, and particularly these are the ones that use, I don't like these. They use 2 millimeter and not 2.5 millimeter. They strip out easily, really easily. These are 2.5s. Do I own any SSD beadlocks? Not a single set, actually. They're just a little too expensive. I haven't even talked myself into spending trial money yet. And I went and built up a custom set of Boom Racing Pro builds, and couldn't get myself to do it. Could not get myself to press order. And they were fully tricked out with scale hardware, and I was getting a wide set and doing the whole thing, and it was about $130 for the set, and I tried. I really tried. And the part of me in the back of my head is like, yeah, man, treat yourself. Buy yourself a nice thing. And then the other part of me is like, you do remember that the Element Trail Runner was basically 2 sets of Boom Racing Pro builds to get a whole rig. And that's what stops me. Yeah, see, RC Family over there says it's 8 in Hempstead, but I don't know what 8 degrees. And they told me, okay, wait. Do you subtract 32? I already can't remember. I told myself I was going to remember and then forgot. So 8 is, like, I don't even know if that's cold. 0 is 32. Yeah, I don't know. I would be absolutely guessing as to what 8 is. HVTO3. Boom Racing prices are absurd until what if you're on the fence about buying a set of Boom Racing Pro builds, look at what it would cost to build up a set of Methods or KMCs from Vanquish. So you're talking $130 just for the wheels. Okay? Then you have to get hubs. And if you want IFR rings, you got to buy IFRs. And if you want scale hardware, they have elected to use Imperial hardware. So you can't just buy a $15 bag of Injora hardware. It's about $20 a wheel to do the scale hardware. So a fully tricked out set of Vanquish wheels, easy $200. Not a problem to put $200 into a set of Vanquish wheels. Yeah, Vanquish may even be worse. Yeah. Oh, we got taken up by the delay there. Yeah, Vanquish might be as expensive as you can get. Oh well, no, that's not true. What's the dude that does the basically custom one-offs? I know it's not Shift RC, but it's something like that. The wheels that are on the one Zoku rig that I drove in here, and then it's all content installment. Those wheels go for like $350 a set. The price on the Velociraptors, they were sent in because someone had gotten them on one of the big emos, one of the big cross emos. So they didn't buy them outright either. I have to unmount these as well. They came on one of the, I think they got the tow truck. So they came off of the big emo X2 or X3 tow truck. I have only been able to find one seller that is selling these, and they are grotesquely expensive. The one seller on eBay that's actually selling the Velociraptors, the listing was $56, and nowhere could I find whether that was for a pair or for the full set. I mean, either way, it's too much. Definitely too much. Yeah, couldn't find the Velociraptors anywhere to put the price and compound on the list. Cross makes, so far as I've found, Cross makes no reference to the compound used. And like I say, an eBay seller selling $56, and I don't know if that was a set, a pair or a set. You could put them down as $56 a set, which would still be way too expensive for what we're getting. Oh, I'm talking about the Boom Racing thing. Oh, man. I prefer calling it glitch in the Matrix, but I am, the deja vu. I have been here before. I am deep inside a glitch in the Matrix right now. Have I ever done motorcycle trials riding? I was just talking to someone about how me and before I got into cycling, like, obsessively, and in the intervening years when I just wasn't riding a bike at all, I used to say I don't trust anything on two wheels, even though I've been riding bikes for pretty much my whole life. Yeah, you're not getting me on a motorcycle. Those dudes that do trials, that looks impossible, and I will just continue to categorize it as impossible. But yeah, I've long said that if you put me on a motorcycle in the middle of the Sahara Desert, I would find a cactus to run into, or a tree, or a telephone pole, or something. I would find something to run into. Me and motorcycles, maybe it's the shifting with the foot thing. I don't know. Considering the aftermarket quality, I don't think I'll purchase any more big name products unless absolutely needed. That's not a bad philosophy to live by. And honestly, like, these are hot storms, and I wish they were more regularly available. It's a great looking 8-hole wheel. These came when I bought this particular set, which is the baseline has the other set, and I think we might. Yeah, see, there you go. There aren't any cacti in the Sahara, so you picked up on what I was putting down. I would find one, and I would hit it. Sorry, the Raptors were a disappointment. No, I wasn't disappointed at all, because I have previously tested the Cross Racing Black Rocks, Cross RC Black Rocks, and the Black Rocks were terrible. They were terrible. There are, speaking of, someone just mentioned trials again. There's a dude that rides an electric trials bike, and every time, like, I guess the motor, the motor, like, spools up, and it goes, whoop, and then he's over here, and he goes, whoop, and you go, that's not a thing. That's not a thing that things or people do. Yet there he is. Yeah, I have a couple buddies that are into motorcycles in various formats, and yeah, Black Rocks are the third worst tire of 34. That is inauspicious. And I imagine that if I were to put the cross tires that come on the Deuce and a Half, I imagine they would be equally probably more terrible, actually. Maybe the most terrible. We could find the worst. I was having when I did what tire test was it? Oh yeah, it was the Velociraptors. I started having a crisis of conscience in that, like, why should I just be doing it in a single format? Like, should we be making a differentiation between the quick view and the junk view? Because the thing that we're hoping for the most is for the tire to transcend, to be the mix racing Fusk, to be the fake Tusk, and to make that leap over from being a cheap Amazon tire to something that actually performs. Because Injora kind of messed up the whole categorization system, because they're selling the comp pins and the swamp claws for basically half the price of any other, like, name brand tire, but they're kind of giving us name brand quality. So they've kind of messed up. Prior to that, pretty much everything off of Amazon was junk. Someone got themselves an SCX6. I was browsing through the kits on A-Main a couple days ago, and they were like, oh, this, I think it's the Honcho, the SCX6 Honcho is on clearance, and it's like $50 off. So it's $1,050 instead of $1,100. And I'm like, maybe if it wasn't just a giant 10.3, I would be more interested. But every time I have a 10.3 in my hands, I have to change a bunch of stuff out on it. And the availability, actually, no, that's not true. The number one thing that drives me away from the SCX6 was I was looking for wheels and tires to replace the USD stickies on RoboKitty. And I was like, RoboKitty's pretty big. I could probably put some SCX6 size tusks on there. And to put an Amazon set of wheels and tusks together is $200. And I was like, okay, maybe not. Maybe we'll just get the 575s and we'll be happy with that. Now that we don't see a lot of junk views, probably just doing one list would probably be the correct choice. Yeah, Erwin and others, I get messages on Instagram occasionally asking, have I tested this or have I tried this one? And we're kind of running out. There's not as many fake / cheap tires on Amazon and AliExpress anymore. It's just brands, and we use that very loosely. It's brands reselling, like the Mix Racing fake tusks say Mix Racing on the sidewall, and I've seen them sold by like a dozen different sellers. So when you do a search on Amazon, you find, some variation of the Super Swamper Rocks tire sold by 40 different people. And I don't know. Working on my Rift today, I'm about to burn all of my Spectrum receivers. I have 4 AVC and a DX5. If you look back through the archives somewhere, I might have mentioned it in a video that fully disabling AVC on one of those Spectrum receivers is like performing an incantation to raise the dead. It's unbelievable. As I was taught by someone in the comments, to turn off the oh wait, what did I miss? To turn off the gyro in a radio link receiver, you literally hold the bind button for like 5 seconds and it turns it off. But on Spectrum, to fully disable it, oh my goodness. So far as I know, before I disconnected the radio from it, which was a DX3 or an SLT3, there's a little knob on it to turn AVC down to 0, and that was how I got the AVC disabled on the laser nut, because any amount of AVC activated made that vehicle quite literally undrivable. So there's a push for Pentabee. I mean, I'm not opposed. We can go Pentabee. I'm not opposed. Around some kind of cracking cousin goose. I don't know what it was. Battleback guy. I don't know what it was, but I was so unimpressed by the Kraken Claw. I don't know what it was. I think they're on the junk view side, and they did not do well. And someone just said, I'm not. I have no. I have no idea how to pronounce Rarlo. Yeah, they keep coming up in my feed, like some people reviewing this or that from Rarlo. You're not allowed to put two consonants. You're not allowed to put RL together like that at the beginning of a word. We don't do that. That Radio Master needs to hurry up and finish the ability to despectrum everything. I had a DX5C for a long while, and just what a miserable radio. What a miserable radio. I tried so hard and got so far, and in the end, I had to get rid of it. And I sold it for pennies on the dollar, and I had bought, I think I had 6 receivers for it. One of my last eBay sales, I don't think I've been back to eBay since. There's just no point. I'm not saying it's because I have too much stuff. I'm just saying that I can't be bothered to go on eBay and deal with the shenanigans of eBay, where they've thrown the sellers to the wolves, and a buyer can be like, "This isn't what they said it was," and it is exactly what you said it was. And then eBay is just like, "Yeah, we're gonna give them their money back. Yeah, you're out of luck." So I would rather just give things away or trade them out for something. Yes, we do enjoy that he added it to his name. Yeah, despectruming your life is a thing. Oh, speaking of spectruming your life, I was talking to my neighbor, who has been a long time Losi guy and a Truggy guy. A series of 8 Truggies, and I know that I mentioned this probably in the stance video, where I said with the RTRification of everything and how I'm not pleased with the RTRification of everything. I said, you don't see it happening to zones where it matters, right? The Kyosho is not offering up some RTR race buggy, and you're not going to get an RTR Mugen or an Associated. And then I get an email yesterday or day before yesterday from Horizon advertising the new 8 RTR buggy loaded down with Spectrum, but it's just it looks like a Hobby Wing Max 6 system, just rebadged as Spectrum, the motor and the speed control. It makes me perhaps more sad than any RTR release I've ever seen. I'm against RTRs pretty much unilaterally, but 8 scale RTR buggy, if you want to get that, get an Arma, because racing and RTR are not, like, they don't go together. and they're like, it has the ad blurb at the bottom, and it's like, oh, this will get you your quick start into racing, and I'm like, it's $629, which, you know, in the grand scheme of things, 8-scale buggies are ridiculously expensive. Oh, I've just realized. 3SBRC said, "Did you get the charger working?" I realized he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to BattleBot guy. I have I've Slash Raptor 93. I've never run Spectrum. Count yourself as fortunate. They are so RTR. Has anyone bought an RC6 GS from AliExpress? No, I have not. Because I've got Jesse Yang. And if you're planning to buy one soon, let me know. And I just emailed her a couple days ago. I will email her and ask her to drop some discount codes, and I can put them up on the community board. And she usually gives like a 10% off code, which will take an RC6 down to what, like $70? So, and you can get it from Amazon, so you'll have it in like a day. I know that there is a Radiolink store on AliExpress. I've seen one on AliExpress, and it said that the seller is Radiolink, like Radiolink Direct or something like that. Now, I feel kind of the same as you do about ordering off AliExpress. Who's to say that's actually Radiolink? I don't know. But it makes me feel a little more comfortable. Yeah, that looks a lot better. That's a lot better. And we're gonna have to make a retirement. I was intending to just mount these on here and leave them mounted because they are completely worn out. But they don't look as good. These look better. So we got to figure out what to do with these orange guys. No need to replace it until it burns up. Yeah, Max 6 is great. That's what I put in my Kraton. No complaints. Oh, they took all the carbon fiber and made it aluminum. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I mean, I learned, I definitely learned a lesson with the laser nut. 130 amp with a 3660 motor. So I guess I didn't read the blurb enough. I wish I had enough screen real estate to open up a tab and look up the spec. If you don't have a 40 millimeter can on a 8-scale buggy, what are you even doing? Laser etcher. Oh, yeah. That's not... Martin Mills, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I think the rockers need to be black. So it needs to be like below the door or the whole rocker, including the bottom of the door. I painted these by hand with craft paint, this guy right here, because I wanted to see how it looked, and I couldn't find, as I said, there's an Amazon padded mailer in here with washi tape in it, and I can't find it. Yeah, those wheels look a lot better. Just hot glued it in there. That's the like $18 one from Amazon. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just looks better. So it was Jimbo Creations that told me how to turn Celsius into Fahrenheit. So if he tells me again, not the entire rocker, so just the bottom below the door. Yeah, I can do that. Below the sticker. Okay. All right. Yeah. I can do that. I was also wondering, so should this be black? That should probably be black, because now that I look at it, It's just a big glaring white spot sticking out. Yeah, the gift memberships, let me tell you what from a person who can see the analytics, from somebody who lives behind the scenes, the gift memberships are wild. Because painted black also. What about a tan top like an Eddie Bauer? I could do a tan top because that would be really easy to mask, and I could just paint it with Krylon Fusion. Why does it always turn off accept gifts on me? I don't know what that means. Yeah, and with the tan seats, I think this would probably look nice and tan. It's gonna get ripped to shreds, so I should probably paint it sooner than later because it's just gonna get paint it now. Okay, Celsius divided by 5 times 9 plus 32. Well, there's why I can't remember it. Okay, hold on. I'm writing that on the whiteboard right now. Celsius divided by 5. So, Celsius divided by 5 times 9 plus 32 equals F. Okay, so if I want to go the other way, I take Fahrenheit and I subtract 32. Celsius divided by 5. So if it's 10 degrees Celsius, that's 2 times 9 is 18 plus 32 is 50. So is 10 degrees Celsius 50 degrees Fahrenheit? Fahrenheit to Celsius minus 32 and half it. Oh yeah, 5/9 is really quite close to half, isn't it? Yeah. So then Celsius to Fahrenheit would be double it and add 32? So 8 would be 16 plus 32 would be 48. Is that close? What? No way. Yeah, the memberships come in, and because they're gifts, people didn't actually sign up for them. So on my little analytics sheet, it will say like number of memberships gained in the past month, and then it will say cancellations, and the cancellations will be up like 7,000% because everybody keeps, because in an ordinary month, I get 4 or 5 people that just don't renew, right? They don't have it set to auto renew. But when when the gift memberships are flying out fast and furious, there have been 12 today. Those 12 people most likely won't renew. So I'm already at like, that'll be 28 days from today in the rolling window. My cancellations will be up 300%. But add that on top of the other ones that are already canceling. And one day it was, I want to say it was like 7,000%. 10 degrees Celsius is 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. So yeah. So just halving it is close enough for America. I'm already forgetting it. Celsius, half the Fahrenheit minus 32. So double the Celsius plus 32. Yeah, I really do. I really do need to burn that onto a piece of wood because I guess I'm getting too old, and I keep trying to store that, but I'm having to scroll up the chat. Half the Fahrenheit minus 32. Why can't I remember that? I think I mentioned that I was shopping for. I'm trying to find a thermometer that has Celsius and Fahrenheit and relative humidity on it, and apparently it doesn't exist. Frigid Mythigan. Well, it's frigid right now. It might be warm in half an hour. Raise your hand if you bought your own membership. So yeah, he's looking all right. I'm not ruling out painting that. right. I'm not ruling out busting that thing out, but I am the most easily distracted person at least in this building. I can say that with some confidence. Boy, those were really dirty. And now I have a spot on the rack for these. Those hot storms should help too, because cut the cab off and run flatbed. Because those hot storms are much heavier than those. Oh, that's true. That's true. She would fit. She would fit. I don't want to get demonetized, but yeah, she would fit. Are you going to black around the rear side window? Yes. I have to find a paint pen or an ink pen. That rim around the window is rounded, and I didn't realize that until I touched it with the marker, and the marker was a little too translucent. I might have to hit up the Hobby Lorby, hit up the Hobby Lobby and get myself a better black paint marker, something with a chisel tip on it, because most of my black paint pens are like that, just like round tip, and doing a rounded edge like that is next to impossible. And I want to use these so that I can touch up, because those things are going to get scratched off so fast. I've already done the trim around the front windows twice, and every time it rolls, it just scratches right off. It would be a great day for spray painting here as well, but I was doing roller painting because I got to get that building done. Sakura markers. Leadfoot. It's got to be done in such a way as we can do a field repair on it, because that body is getting there. I'll never be good enough to drive that without rolling it at least once. So those things are going to get messed up. Sharpie chisel tip, something along those lines, but as some of you may or may not know, a Sharpie is not black. It is just very, very, very dark purple. So that's why I want to, will you show us? Yeah, I will, absolutely. I will show you the new building once it is done. And Lowe's is supposed to be here, 49 with 20-mile-an-hour wind. No, Lowe's is supposed to be here this afternoon, dropping off the very last little bits that I need to finish the outside. And I am going to have to buy more paint, unfortunately. So we're doing something. I'm halfway done on this. I've already done the fronts. We're doing, yeah, Poscas are excellent. But I think it's a round tip. Yeah, I only have the really fines. I need like a chunky I need something with a chisel tip. Does Posca make chisel tips? If Posca makes chisel tips, I will seek one out. But I looked through all of my other paint pens, and they're all the round tips. I guess the quote is Pentabee. I have sent you a Celsius to Fahrenheit image of useful temps in your email. Excellent. Ooh, it's right up there. Let me see if I can click to it without obliterating the chat. Hey, look at that. I myself like the there's a T-shirt that has 0 and 100, and it says Fahrenheit 0, very cold, 100, very hot, and then it says Celsius 0, pretty cold, 100, dead, and then at the bottom it says Kelvin, and it says 0 and 100, and it says dead and dead. I've heard the argument that Fahrenheit is the most accurate, is the best representation of temperature for humans, because it kind of makes sense. Celsius, 0 is frozen water and 100 is boiling water. So you got to go into tenths, and you tell somebody, oh, it's like 44.5, and I'm like, what? I guess because I grew up on it. So if I hear 100, 100's hot, unless you're using Celsius, in which case at 100 you're dead. So the Midwest is I don't know if that guy is Argentum or Ghost Rover. The patina is Argentum. Ghost Rover is his old. Oh, Ooh, that was murdered. I killed a lipo this week. I had plugged a battery in to charge about 2 months ago and forgot about it. And it was sitting in one of the little bags over here, a 4S 1300. And when I put it on the cell checker, it only showed one cell as being alive. I bought them into, oh, these are so hard to get apart. These have been mounted on here for a couple of years now, and tusks, they don't want to let go. And I'm only unmounting them for one reason, because if it ain't broke, break it. And we are trying to break the unbroken because one of the gentlemen that pops up in the chat every once in a while has a Phoenix, and he's got some boom racing that he bought in the like already built section, like pre-builts or however they do that. And they're the really wide ring. I think those boom racing are like 40 millimeters wide. And I don't know. I just really like the look of it. So I found on Amazon, because, I won't spend that boom racing money. For whatever reason, they've got regular 105s, but with like a real fat boy ring. I mean, look at the ring that came out of those. That's a big, I think it's a 35 millimeter ring. It's a big ring. It's a 30 millimeter ring. That's a big ring. So we're going from 24s to 30s, if I can get this unmounted. Oh, did I get a fire? No, it wasn't even puffy. It still just looked, this 2200, it's still pretty good. It had the time, oh, you know me. I may or may not have tried to burp it back to life by putting it on NIM mode, and I was watching it go. And yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, I found a battery this morning that had been left in the rig with the winch still plugged in. Yeah. When I have an adapter, I sometimes unplug the wrong side. Been there, done that. Where's that receiver? Okay, for those of you who know the Radio Link, the 7-channel Radio Link receivers, they give you that little double ender XT60 that has the telemetry plug to show the battery voltage. Do you know how many times I have neglected to plug? Instead of unplugging the battery, I've unplugged the other side of it, and then it's still hooked up to the receiver, which means that everything that's hooked up to the receiver is still hooked up. Yeah, I drew one of the adventure packs down to almost dead. The cells are working when they're expanding like that. Yeah, it was gone. Even after burping it with the NIM mode, one of the cells would only go to 0.7 volts, which is, that's not good. That's not good. I ordered some more on Amazon. It's a lesson learned, It makes me more thankful for the Genzace, for the IMARS being obnoxious, and that it just beep, beep until you unplug it. Because this was on the ProTech, and I completely forgot. It's just holding extra milliamps. Yeah. It just means that the Pixies are getting more excited. You're very excited Pixies. So I'm figuring because these have squids in them, we're basically treating the squids like Injoras, because I don't think that they're wide enough. So I am cutting shims. The beauty of it is that it is going to reward me with another set of wheels of test 105s. As that's all they did. They just made the back ring a little wider. The front ring is the exact same as it's always been. So I'm just going to put these new pieces together with these, and then if you take the skinnier ring, it just makes a regular 24 millimeter set. So we're incidentally building a new, the new Ecto Zool with the IFS2 and trailing arms. Anyone have one in thoughts? If you have an Ecto and you want to build a Zool 2, you just order this. They didn't change anything else. You put an IFS2 on it. That's it. It's the same thing. They made no other changes. They looked at the bins and they looked at what parts they had available, and they were like, "Hey, let's make a new thing." And that's exactly what they did. So it's definitely not something that you need to run out and buy, because it's not a bad buy if you don't have one. But if you have an element rig, you basically have the Zool. And I only built mine with trailing arms because I had discarded all of my trailing arms. So I was like, let's build one with trailing arms. I don't know if I would actively seek it out. There's 5 more. I have an Ecto, but no interest in IFS. Here's the thing. So I now have IFS with trailing arms, and I have IFS with 4-link rear. I definitely prefer 4-link with the IFS. And the Night Runner has IFS 1. And I prefer it with the 4-link. The missing link is awesome, and he's fun, and I'm definitely glad I built him, but I don't know if it's something that I would run out and buy. That's round-ish at best, but it's a shim, and it doesn't have to do much. IFS2 and trailing arms on the SE. No, the SE is 4-link. Is 4-link. And if you saw the most recent video with that guy that was over here a second ago with the Pentabee, Lord Pentabee, those stock links, man, those plastic links, they are really only suitable for servo and axle. They don't work if you put chassis mounted steering. I also got lazy. I was putting in an order at A-Main for an undisclosed project, and I found the number in the element manual, and I just ordered a panhard mount, the panhard mount. Last combo to test IFS2 front and rear. What you have to do is you have to cut 2 element sets of rails apart and weld them together. Because of the way they fit in the little drop down, you can't fit an IFS2 in the rear. So if somebody's got one, they had to do that. Yeah, well, IFS sort of has chassis mounted steering, but not really. Because the whole, did I even open this box? No, this box isn't even open yet. I'm trying to describe it with my hands when I can just show you. So it really truly is, it's just like a module. That's why it was so easy to install. It's really self-contained. And the steering setup on IFS2 with an actual rack is so much better than what's in IFS1. The way this feels, the complete lack of bump steer. IFS2 is just better. It's just better. I don't know why they don't trust us to put it together, but the equal length A-arms, the bigger skid, the better angle here. Yeah, IFS2 is great, but I'm not mad at IFS1, so. Surprises are cooking up behind the scenes. Yeah. Who? IFS mullet. Yeah, it's a shame that there are 2 element vehicles now that come with IFS 2, and one of them is the U-Tron, which I've also never opened Beadlock Buddy. Once I went to print and insert, they just fall on. Yeah. Yeah. It's really only open cell and hair buns that are a nightmare to get mounted because they tend to be oversized. I already did his front too. I did him like a week ago. And I kind of wheeled it around a little bit, and I was like, you know what? That one's rounder. That's pretty round. I have a laser file that I keep neglecting to toke over to the laser because I want to see if the laser will cut. Probably the green stuff. This is probably blue enough that the laser won't cut it. These are still holding up remarkably well. They've been in there for a good while. And I have the rings on the inside. Thank heaven for fridge foam. What a versatile material. Yeah, I've been tempted to buy one of those little assist tools to put beadlocks together, and then I just use the sheer force of my hydraulic thumbs and just press it. How does trailing arms change driving dynamics compared to links? It's kind of hard to explain. I think what's most noticeable is that this motion right here, it isn't as fluid because trailing arms are really more suited to up and down, long travel. They're about long travel in the rear for like speed. I know that when I first got my Ecto, what would later become Yella, I really did not like the trailing arms. I felt a significant limitation in the trailing arms. Now, that was a long time ago, and I think I've adapted my driving style a little bit where the sample size has gotten bigger. So I've driven a lot of different rigs and a lot of different styles. And I think I can adapt a little better now to trailing arms. But four link just feels better because, at least in my perception, the ability of the suspension to the lateral compression, basically what Reddit boys flex, the ability of the axle to do this. You will get greater down travel and up travel from the trailing arm. The shock mounts in the middle of the link. So yeah, I'd like to say pluses and minuses, but if given the choice, I'm gonna take 4-link every time. I want a U-Tron put on trailing arms, take it out like a pre-runner. Yeah, but here's the thing: you don't need a U-Tron. I think it would probably be easier to put IFS on something else than to put trailing arms on a U-Tron. I mean, in turn, ease of installation. I just did it backwards. Ease of installation is definitely going to be putting IFS in. A friend of mine is trying pond filter foam with the ridges facing out. Ridges. I just mounted this backwards. There we go. I hope this thing doesn't fight me too much. I'm cutting stock foams to make tuning discs for the tires. Yeah, it's just, this is super convenient. It's like 8 millimeters thick. No water worries. And I mounted it on the inside of the tire this time. I still have some fridge foam here that is dual density. And I'm anxious to try that. Has anyone found a material that doesn't get super hard in the cold? I was sent some inserts for use and or testing, and they came down from faraway Canada. They are right here. So he sent me 2 sets. He sent me this set and this set. And as you can tell, they are definitely made out of different stuff. And he goes even a little further, in which it's got, so the black insert, it says not cold weather capable, 50 degrees and up. And it is done out of TPU 95A with 2% infill. And then the clear ones are TPU 85A with 4% infill, cold weather capable, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So I don't know anything about 3D printing inserts. I've never done it. People send them to me, but I don't know about actually doing it. So apparently, TPU 85A will handle temperatures basically that we don't get here. Like, if it goes down to 50, that works for me. I'm seldom driving out there if it's below 50. I'm a cheapskate and I'm taking to cutting off the outer off stiff stock foams. Yeah. I mean, if you've got some Velociraptor foams, you could make replacements for the centers of halos with those. They're so stiff. That screw head looks like it's got quite a bit of rust in it. I don't know how that happened. I don't think this thing's ever been outside when it's wet. So I like the profile that this gives the tire. I know there's a movement towards getting them all skinny, but like it just fattens it up a little bit. Probably widens it out. Maybe 4 millimeters or so, 4 or 5 millimeters. Thoughts on Fallout? I think that Fallout, and when you say Fallout, I'm going to operate under the assumption that you're talking about the series on Amazon Prime. Here's my thought on it. Do people who have never played Fallout, are they enjoying it? Because for me, that show feels in every way like a love letter to people who have played Fallout. There are so many little hidden bits. It's got all the songs. I love it so much. It's gonna be my favorite show of the year, no matter what else comes out this year. I'm making a very concerted effort not to blow through it too fast. Yeah. See? Mr. Rosu blew through it in 2 days. Yeah. I'm trying not to blow through it in 2 days. I mean, I could. It's so good. It's so good. It's unbelievable how good it is. The someone in the production, someone in the background of that show likes Fallout. That helps immensely. There's often talk and discussions of what they call video game adaptations. The Fallout series is unquestionably, and I put this up against, okay, is it as good of a show as Last of Us? Well, it's definitely more fun. It's Jay Leeson. I know that they're in very Southern California for it. I would love to see some of the Kaisar's legions. That would be amazing. But maybe season 2. Maybe season 2. I love that it got picked up that fast for season 2. And honestly, I'm kind of upset that they did the Netflix dump. I like the usual way Amazon does it, like the way they were doing Invincible, where it's like an episode a week, so you don't just you're gonna just dive in on it. I don't know how Amazon makes their decisions. I would have been happier, because then it'll stretch it out and I get to at least watch it for a couple months. As it is, we basically sit down and watch 2 episodes in a sitting. The actor that plays the ghoul is great. I don't know if there's been anything that he's not that he's not good in. He was amazing in Justified. He was fantastic in one of my wife's favorite Christmas movies, where Mel Gibson plays Santa. If we're going to talk about Halo for a second, he's got to take his helmet off. He's got to take his helmet off. So I mean, I get it. Like, they even, like the Mandalorian, let's look at that tangentially. They're never supposed to take their helmet off, and he had to take his helmet off. Like, it's actors. They got egos and shit. And also, like, in a video game, the lead character can keep his helmet on the whole time. It'll be fine. But we need to see that it's a person and not all CGI. And I think that Halo is being faithful enough. I'm still salty that they went so heavy into the Halo universe, when I'm a lifelong Marathon fan, and I would have loved to see a movie or a series or anything based off of Marathon, because I thought that the story, Halo, to me, has always been a kind of the Halo, the Marathon story kind of watered down a little bit. It was more sci-fi and less video game universe in Marathon. Basically, I would just like to see a rebooted Marathon. With helmet on, the actor and the voice was so good together in Mandalorian. Yeah. And we know it's Pedro Pascal, so like it's fine. He didn't have to take his helmet off. But I don't find the helmet off in Halo to be inorganic, because they show us enough behind the scenes, and the acting overall is good. They get people that are, yeah, huge respect to Carl Urban for keeping the helmet on. And for Lena Headey stepping up and playing a great villain again. She was excellent in that. Sometimes it's the villain. That's who's making it for you. Halo, I don't know if it was incidental or by design. I'm assuming incidental. But both of the, so you've got the character from the planet who everybody gets killed and her dad dies early on. I can't remember her name because she's that memorable for me. If she's supposed to be annoying, then job done. Absolutely great. The Covenant girl, if she's supposed to be annoying, I mean, she's dead now, but if she's, no spoilers. If she's supposed to be annoying, job done. Halsey was like the best one. Like, Halsey was great. And we just finished season 1 of Halo. So we're going to start season 2. We started late. Like it's basically if my wife gets an itch to watch something, then I sit down on the sofa with her and watch it. Too geek to be chic. There's I think we've had like 4 people throwing out gift memberships today. Yeah, see, it's not hugely wider on the tire. Maybe it is. I don't know. My perspective is all off. But I like the look of it. Woo. 2660s. Have you seen the prices of shocks by any chance? I was looking, I had a momentary lapse of reason, and I was looking for some shocks to buy, completely forgetting about fake Dravtex, and then I have a bunch of Seal rebuild kits here. And I was looking up, I was like, I'll get some Desert Lizards. Desert Lizards cost more than big bores now. What's going on? Toyota looks good, seems very tall. A lot of people would agree with you that the FJ45 looks tall. But if you look up images of the real thing in the real world, they're actually skinnier and they look maybe even a little taller. Like the windshield on those FJs is really tall. So, yes, you're right. It does look tall. It seems very tall. But I think it's relatively faithful. The other one, the MST, what is it, the J45C? That one's even closer to the proportion of the actual FJ. You watch shows like I do, whatever the wife decides to watch. Doing a Harry Potter marathon. Yeah, she does that about once a year. When Oliver, 35. Well, I'm one of the great unwashed. I'm over here using Costco olive oil, and you're never gonna compel me to use anything else because that stuff is expensive. Yeah, that the windshield wiper on Argentum is bent to heck because I didn't notice that it had gotten like pushed down and is now contoured to the hood. I can probably use a heat gun to bend it back, and I will probably forget to do so. I've gotten the Spider is a little closer to ready for the next episode. I've got the body cut out and it needs to be painted. And when I get near paint, I just stop moving. Forward movement ceases. But it's put together, and these are some of the lightest springs I could find, and they still feel way too stiff and significantly underdamped with 80 weight. So I'm probably going to have to rebuild those shocks completely with the whatever the lowest number of slots in the pistons. I think these are the 3 slot from the instructions. I'm going to have to put the 2 slot in there. Maybe the 2 slot with 80 weight might work if I have enough 80 weight. What were the specs again on your Toyota? Oh, on Argentum? Oh. So Argentum he was my first Phoenix, and I'm almost resistant to take the body off because he's got lights and the wiring is an absolute nightmare. But he's a Zoku Phoenix with a Fusion Pro AGFRC A20 CLS for dig and overdrive. He's got an AGFRC, I think it's the A86 BUMW for the servo, which is ridiculously expensive. Titanium links throughout. aluminum portal boxes in the front with the big Vanquish weights, big bores, because I favor an 85 millimeter shock for a Phoenix. Then he's got rock lights and roof lights and headlights. And honestly, aside from that, there is not a lot of Canyon-ish modification done to him. He's running pretty much like a Zoku Phoenix. Yeah, just the regular. I've never touched any of the gears inside the axles. Haven't needed to. I love these turbine style wheels. These were Hot Storms as well. They're far more difficult to get now. And he's on his second body because I had determined that I wanted to do a patina. His first one predated my patinas. He's got that weird gold under hue. I don't remember what I did painting him to get the gold under hue, but there it is. So it is Argentum the Phoenix. And it really is like cheat codes. And the body, you know, people always say the body looks so tall because, like, look how tall the window is. I think it's proportionate. And also, the body is not that heavy, even with the cage on it. I think the body comes in around 9 ounces. So, yeah, I mean, if you throw on something like that new Rock 1 from Biddy Design, you're going to move your CG down. But whenever I drive Argentum, it always feels like cheating because he looks tall and you think that he should behave. Like, you think his CG's like up here and he's going to be rolling around, but he really doesn't. Do you have any experience with the Yippin servos? I do not. I'm starting to develop a little bit of a mental catalog of servos of all types that appear to just be rebadges of something else. And Amazon is getting flooded with a lot of these brands, which I think are people that just get anodization done. They get cases put together and they slap different stickers on them. I think that's what the Synth Cam servos are. I bought one of those hobby airbrush kits. I don't know what I'm doing, so I hate painting even more now. Yeah, there's a definite learning curve to airbrushing for sure. For sure. I will trend towards rattle cans 10 times out of 10. I will bust the airbrushes out only under duress. What happened with Argentum? I couldn't see anything. Oh, I was just he's got 30 millimeter wide inner rings instead of 24 millimeter wide. Just for no genuine reason, just on account of because like I say, if it's not broken, then that's our opportunity to break it. I am now going to grab. I'm doing things that I should have been doing earlier and haven't done. Oh no. Oh yes. Yeah, RC 4-wheel drive has their own nice little scale caps, but I don't know if it's 3D printed or molded, but they have their own little special tool, and I am deathly afraid that I'm going to lose it. Yeah, steep learning curve with airbrushing. Getting your consistency right in the paint, getting it thinned to just the right degree, sometimes feels almost impossible. Like you can't get it right sometimes. 270 kg. RC family, I am still waiting. We have never yet met a 70 kg servo that produces 70 kg. It's out there. I'm sure it's out there. Maybe there'll be one that does it. But the last time we tested a 70 kg, it didn't even come close. I put a servo in my crawler, and when I turn all the way to the right, it freaks out and starts jittering. Are the endpoints set? So like you're not going past. Because it's okay. Let me answer that question before I move to another. You've got to do process of elimination. I'm assuming you probably have a stock servo laying around somewhere. Hook up the stock servo. Don't make any other changes. Turn it all the way to the right. See if anything happens. It could, if the endpoint isn't set, it could be browning out. So when it's hitting stall, the amp requirement is going way up, and the BEC might not be providing it. There's a lot of things that will make that happen, unfortunately. I wish it was just one thing that made it happen. Yeah, as a rule, the paint needs to be the consistency of milk for airbrushing. It also comes down to, like, the paint that I've used most recently. When I tried the Mission Model stuff, I could not get it thinned to the correct amount. I ended up shooting that body with an HVLP gun. The Revell, what do they call it? Aquacolor. The thinner for that works outstanding. It got the paint to the perfect consistency, and it just worked. Like, it worked on the first try. Luck. I mean, can't forget about luck. Used to run it off a car tire. There's a bin in this building somewhere that has a Posh and a Badger, the little tiny little compressor like that, where there'd be the hole in it so that it wouldn't overpressurize and blow up the hose. But that's why I had to go to that thing, because I'm so lazy. I would just take the hose for my whatever airbrush I was using and just plug it into this. And this is just a main compressor line, so it's probably 30% water in that line, even with vapor traps. Because this right here is probably 30 feet of line plus the flex. So 40 feet of line between the compressor, and the compressor warms the air and it fills up with moisture. And if you're shooting water base, it's not so bad, but when you're shooting oil base, it's just going to ruin your whole day, and it's going to ruin your whole day. I never had an airbrush powered by a tube that you put in your mouth and blew. The furthest back I remember is the little can of, I'm assuming, pressurized propellant of some kind. I remember Badger branded cans and Testors badged cans, and you screwed the little thing on the top, and then you screwed a little valve down, and it just depressed it, and then you could brush with that. And it wasn't long after that I bought the little guy. It's still in here somewhere. Got to be 40 years old, and it still works. I learned airbrushing from the miniature wargaming hobby. Yeah, I learned all my airbrushing doing armor models, Tamiya, Hasegawa, stuff like that. Amazon had underdrive gears for the Wendigo Marksman on clearance, so I don't know if the thing needs a 775 motor. Yeah. Yeah, there's no gear reduction in Red Cat. They don't know how to do it. Let's just see. Don't forget to think about what we're going to do with the tire reviews. If we're going to join the quick and the junk on a one list, etc. Oh. Yeah, at this point, we probably should, but I need to know how to structure the sheet before adding new things. I probably just need to look at the junk view scores, because some of them will need to be adjusted. We've given scores that junk specific scores because I'm a little more lenient on junk tires, but I guess now we're just going to score everything the same, which means most of the junk view scored tires are going to take a big hit in their points, because if they stayed on the junk column, like an 80 in the junk column is mid 70s, maybe into the 60s, like really bad, really, really bad. Because, how do you send a picture of my crawler to the canyon? Crawlercanyon@gmail.com. Yeah, Sam Stevens. I'm a rattle can myself, but I use really old paint and it sputtered. That's the beauty of painting things on the inside. You could paint the inside of a Lexan body with a toothbrush, and it would still come out looking pretty good. After this, I'll be painting my Endura Jeep Cherokee cab. Ooh. I use floor gloss and jet dry to thin cheap hobby paints, and it seems to work great. Huh. Green Palmdale. That's right over there. That way. I'm pointing at Palmdale right now. I was thinking about going with a clear coat on top of the color, but I can't find a clear that would be hard enough to make it worth it. Then just go with a clear that's very, very thin. The Testers, which you should have down there in the Land of Dragons. Testers gloss coat. They have it in 3. They have gloss coat, dull coat, and I think there's a middle one. They'll go on paper thin. So any scratches that you get won't just chip off the clear. The clear will go on super, super thin. There are 6 to 7 tires, a couple Enjoras, and the rest are AliExpress, Amazon garbage. Yeah. Are we going to find a standard Class 1 insert for Class 1 tire testing? I'm hoping to use what's in here, Enjora Blues. But we've got to put weight on him. The Pentabee has got to get heavier because these want about 7.5 pounds and he's about 6.5. I've ordered some Triol brass for the front end and in the hopes that will weight it down a little bit. I don't know if we're going to manage to get to 7.5 pounds. I don't just want to throw weight at it. I do want to drive him in that configuration to see how he does on the flat irons. But having good insurance and fuss, there is only a point in buying a cheap tire that works worse than those already mentioned. Yeah, absolutely. Basically, yeah, if a junk tire works good, they'll get a decent score on the quick list. Correct. Yeah, the Fusk is right there. I sent you some pics the other day. Yes. I'm they're actually on my desktop. I already saved them out of the email. I have just neglected to. You can tell that when I get a bunch of them, I will just community put like 7 in a row community posts. Didn't Enjora just come out with a Class 1 insert? Yes, green and blue. Ruby, the Trail Runner, is on the greens, and this set of tires right here are on the blues. And these are the Tranquish's old wheels, and we're going to run them on here as a test because the gentleman behind this build wants to run Tusks on here on the Scottsdale, but Class 1 Tusks are once again out of stock. So we will run those. Don't know if you answered my question as I had to grab food. Have you used the Enjora mountain shocks that look like desert lizards? No, I have not, because they cost, at least on Amazon here, they cost as much as buying big bores. They're like $25 a pair. And you can't sell junk shocks for $25 a pair because you can buy fake Dravtex for $20 a set. And it's like the Quick View Junk View tire. Why are we going to buy a tire that's worse than the fake Tusk when the fake Tusk works amazing for $26? And that's why I haven't tested the Enjora Mountains. I've gotten questions about the Enjora Mountains before, but so long as the RC boys, so long as those are a thing, I can't see opting for the Enjora Mountains. Yes, Mad Scientist, the fake Tusks they're fantastic. If Erwin is still there in the chat over there from Belgium, I think he's got 3 or 4 sets of them. And he asked me on Instagram because the place that he buys from just got genuine J Concepts Tusks back in stock. And he asked, and for him, it's like €72 for a set. And he asked if it was worth it. And I was like, no. He can get 4 sets of fake Tusks for the price of 1 real set. And the real Tusks, yeah, they're better. They're better because J Concepts Green is amazing, right? But they're not 4 times better. Like they're a little better. And if you drive them back to back, you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference. But still, it doesn't take away from how good the fake Tusk is. Now I'm gonna have to go on some sort of maps and look up the Rakia River. We don't have rivers in California. Got creeks and streams and stuff. Things they call rivers. Santa Ana River's right over here. It's dry most of the time. Southern California is the desert. Like, to me, a river is something that they can that you can get on a paddle boat. And we're definitely not getting on any paddle boats around here. There are 4 tires below $35 a set. I cannot believe the Endura Compens have dropped to 9th. Fusk's in 13th, Swamp Claws in 18th, and Batrazi Precipice in 20th. Where do we get the Fusk? They're all over Amazon. If you search for 1.9 crawler tire, they're in there under different guises from different sellers. It just needs to say Mix Racing in that terrible font. You know what? Let me grab. He's way over here. We've had to build, well, not build, but we're in the process of Garage 5. I'm trying to describe it instead of just showing. So they say Mix Racing crawler tire in this very like 70s looking font. That's what you need. It looks like a Tusk, and it says Mix Racing crawler tire in this mismatched fonts, and those are the fake Tusk. That's what you're looking for. They'll be under 20 different sellers. They're on AliExpress as well. It depends on what part of the world you're in. Yeah. HV203. I'm looking at the junk list right now and don't see anything that could be saved to the quick list. No, I don't either. What I will do, don't delete them. I will go in and make mental score adjustments based off of my rapidly diminished memory, and I will update the scores to reflect quick view scoring on the junk tires, and then we can put them over on the quick view side. They'll just be really, really low. Yeah, J Concepts keeps I mean, it's green. It's green. Green is unfair. That's why Sorka secretly wants to ban it. This is not, as far as cheap brush motors that they give you go, it's not a bad one. And look at they knew what they were doing when they wanted to put this speed control all the way at the back of this vehicle. They did what needed to be done. The best way to fake draft text. I'm assuming Lee Jordan is talking about AliExpress and not Amazon. I could link you on Amazon, but I've bought 0 sets. I was sent in an AliExpress set. They're the ones that are still on baseline, but I've never bought a set off of AliExpress. I've only bought them off of Amazon because they're about the same price. How are Hyrax not banned? They aren't scale at all. Is it just because they aren't good? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I just noticed? So right there. And the Hyrax was underwhelming because I think the pattern, the profile has become kind of dated. Look at that. Okay, so the Velociraptor is just a really swollen Hyrax. Like, it down to the 3-bar lugs. I mean, these are better than these, but the Hyrax did. I was really surprised by how underwhelming these were. Yeah, and as long as they're in G8, they're never going to blow anybody's mind. Dude, jet sprinting is one of my favorite things to watch in the whole world. I added a column on the lunk list so you can add your mental scores easily. Awesome. Yes, are those the ones you buy the Traxxas seal kits for? Yes. TRA2362. I have a question. I'm running the MST CFXW has portals, and I was wondering what would be better, 1200. 1200. because the CFXW portals use planetary gears, so they basically have no portal reduction. They have the same final drive as a straight axle. So I run 1200 on mine with a gearbox with more reduction than the stock gearbox, and he's still pretty brisk. So yeah, 1200 on a CFXW portal for sure, because you have to treat it like a straight axle. So Hyrax is a mini Velociraptor, baby raptor. Yeah, from the look of it, Hyrax always look like a cut modified crawler KX. Yeah, they should rename Hyrax to baby raptors. I mean, or you know what they could do? You know, they could surprise us all, and they could update the Hyrax. Hyrax 2.0. A set of Hyrax would cost about 200 New Zealand dollars. Good. And you'd be throwing that money away. They're just underwhelming. They might be the lowest performing or the lowest scoring Proline tire that we've done. I'm glad that I bought the big bag of... No, I think I've just made an executive decision. I was going to say I'm glad I bought a big bag of servo extensions, because we're going to... Erwin, what we're doing is we're throwing some money at the... this is the Scottsdale. Complaining about $90 for a set of tires. Yeah, we have some... We're spoiled. We're definitely spoiled over here in America, because, you know, fake tusks are $27 a set. Even proper stuff like J Concepts, we're looking at usually around $50 a set, unless it's like the 2.2 LPs, which go about $60 a set. $90 a pair. Man. Oh, yeah. Everything on extensions. Look at the size. Look at the size of that receiver. That's not a little boy, that's a big boy. I do have to figure out where to put that rhino. $90 a pair, man. Dang. The tape was definitely stronger than the sticker. Yeah, the Hyrax LP seems like a very different performing beast to the regular 1.9 version. Then you start reading the description. Set of ruptures that was 65-ish bucks. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. Did people fall out of love with the rupture? $83.95 a pair for Hyrax. That might be the wildest thing I hear today. Luckily, those were sent in. I want to say Shaker MT paid for those, because I wouldn't want to have to pay for them. $200 NZ is $118 US. It's ridiculous no matter what color you paint it. I think I tested Hyrax LPs. Didn't I? Oh no, they were all like, they had like tricked out inserts in them and stuff. So I was like, I can't do a real test of these. They had like Three Brothers 3D printed inserts and they were mounted on like super shafty wheels. So like $70 a wheel, and then the inserts were like $60 some a pair. And then the cost of the Hyrax LPs, the cost factor was just ridiculous. I've tricked Europe into selling out on fake Dravtex. Yeah, 40 a pair for 1.9 ruptures. That's pretty good. I got something will get these. These are yellows. These were what yellow was on. But now he's on he's on LPs. He's on these. They scored higher, you know. Well, actually, we've got to put these back on yellow and have him do the test. These are still on the single stage because the ruptures have never gotten an updated score. So I have 22 tires to test. My high racks haven't made it back on my rig since I ran tusks on it for the first time. Yeah, that will happen. Figure let's just pull everything off. It's getting pretty light, which is not something people oft say about RC four-wheel drive. .42 is technically isn't that the answer to life, the universe, and everything? That's what Deep thought about for 10,000 years. Are there silicone inserts that will fit the IRAX LP? Not to my knowledge. Our only options for silicone twister are the Injoras and the ones that aren't Injoras. So we've got 465 and 475, and we've got skinny-ish and skinny-er. It's just like I was talking to someone on Instagram, and they were talking about buying a set of ruptures, and I was like, well, then you have two choices. If you bring ruptures home, you have two choices. You either run them on the included foam, or you just spend the money and you go to Squid and you get 3D printed, because to my knowledge, there isn't an off-the-shelf insert out there that fits the weird off size and shape of the 1.9 rupture. That's a pretty beefy horn. Twister. I do need to find that receiver, because we're gonna need it. It's got a little yellow plug. The yellow plug should be visible. Just gonna wander away. I'm not live streaming on the internet or anything. It's becoming a problem. I'm losing things. He's losing his mind. Maybe it's in this box. It's not. All right, so add to the list. I can't find the receipt. I just saw it, or I feel like I just saw it. Did I see it on my desk in the house? Perhaps. So I am missing an entire thing of tape. It's not in there. I'm missing an entire thing of Kamoy tape. I am now missing a package with a receiver in it. I'm losing it, man. The Kamoy tape is the really one. 300 silicone runs on 1.0 tires. Whoa. Oh, there is a rupture-specific anti-foam. I bet they cost more than getting Squids. That would be my guess. Because they're probably $20, $30 a pair. I don't know. I don't know if I could drive a 1.0 tire. Those are usually what, like 60 millimeters across. I don't know if I could do it. I got a pair of Axial BFG crawler TAs on Amazon for 25 bucks a pair. Are they any different from the Proline BFGs? Yeah. G8 is not my favorite compound, but I would say that G8 is... So when this was assembled down at the RC four-wheel drive factory, that dude missed that hole quite a bit. Yeah, my brain is searching to try to remember what does Axial call their compound? R35. G8 is better than R35. R35 is almost like a basher compound. I get all my anaphones when they do half off on blems, 40-ish bucks for a set. Yeah, and I know a lot of people swear by anti-foams. A buddy of mine, it's like all he'll run. I don't think he's really climbing on board the 3D printed train, but you know, squids are going to be about 50 bucks a set, and for that 10 bucks, I'm going to go with oh, that's really packed in there. I'm going to go with 3D printed. I think I'm running anti-foams on 2 vehicles. Yes, this is the Scottsdale. I mean, it's pretty stripped down right now. We're gonna put the servo that everyone would imagine that you put in your Scottsdale, right? Your Raw 800. Why not? I'm not saying that the Axial crawlers will be terrible or anything. I just think they probably won't be quite as good as Proline crawlers. And Proline crawlers, from everything I've seen, they really need to break in. They get a lot better over time. Look at that RC four-wheel drive, guys. It's not that hard. You can indeed find the screw hole on the first try. Look at that. I did it twice. It still seems wild to me that this was the owner's selection for servo and motor and speed control. I mean, Raw 800, we've just increased the cost of this vehicle slightly. Yeah, that's the thing, mad scientist. Running many different hair buns and Joras, RoboSlugs. Yeah, I don't think we will ever see an insert that works for everything. I don't think that's a thing, because I've got Canyon mediums in vehicles and they just work. They just work. Sometimes the silicones work. Sometimes it's 3D printed. There's a handful of rigs here that are still on good old single stage foams. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. It's a Scottsdale, and the gentleman, the owner, has sent in some bits and pieces. So we're just installing them. It's an idle hands type of day. Yeah, Erwin, if you're making a pitch, go for it. We are all friends here. Maybe a little looser on that. So I figured now was as good of a time as any. Okay, that's the servo screw. Was it these little? It might be these tiny little guys. Ooh. Jay Leeson is going to bed because he's leaving early in the morning to go crawling at made-up work. Haytor Rock on Dartmoor. Have you tried alt foam, CNC milled closed cell foams? I have not. Sounds similar to what, I mean, is it at all similar to what Crawler Innovations does? Something like that? Something similar to that? Those are an odd one for me. Those comp cuts or whatever they call them. I am racking my brain to try to remember where I set that receiver. I feel like I brought it out here. If not, I can work around it. I've got an RC6 right down here under the bench, and I'll just pull the receiver out of that. I did this backwards. Now I've got to try to find the... I've got to try to line this hole up the impossible way. Just going to be over here quietly trying to line this up. I should put this one in first. This screw is not being kind to me. Oh. Let me tell you how I really feel about forward motor mounts. Frustrated. I managed to get that in there. Because I'm going to have to get that servo centered before I put a horn on it. I shudder to think what the Scottsdale costs in New Zealand. Because that thing is $569 here. It's got to be over $1,000. I just got that email as well. Armageddon and Axial Fest Badlands. What is Axial Fest Badlands? Attica, Indiana. Proline by the Fire. Somebody is once again going to try to convince me to go to Proline by the Fire. What coffee does the Canyon drink? I don't drink real coffee. I drink somebody's leaking. There's little oily bits everywhere. I drink milkshakes with coffee in them. I go down to a Starbs and I get myself a Java chip frap, which I have to remember to only drink in the car on the drive home, because if you drink a Java chip frap in public, it will give you 15th century pirate teeth when all the little Java chips get stuck in between your teeth. Fourth time to Axial Fest Badlands. I can say I got a text or I got a message on Instagram last year, someone asking me if I was going to the Scale Nationals or something. They're in like Ocala, Florida, and I was like, I think you might be mistaking me for someone else, because I haven't driven to Horseman's Park yet for any of the Proline events or any of that, because it's an hour. It's right about an hour drive to Horseman's Park, and Florida is almost 3,000 miles away. Posca PC 8K or 17K is a big flat tip. I'm gonna check that on Amazon. Posca PC 8K. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, those are the big chunky boys. Amazon is not going to be my friend. I'm going to have to try to find these in an art store because the only way to buy the PC 8Ks on Amazon are in 6-packs of a single color or in a 10-pack of the multicolors. And $32 to get black pens seems extreme. Okay, yeah. I'm not even going to bother to look. We're going to steal the receiver from this. And then I'll either find it or I'll buy my buddy a receiver to replace the one that I stole. This is the radio for this is Zorana's radio. Yeah, this is the thing where I unplug the wrong side and I try to blow batteries up. So I've been telling myself, just solder in a new JST and stop messing around. All right. I'm going to have to pair that to some radio of some sort. Oh, someone sent me a Sakura. Oh, all right. Jimbo. All right. Well, then I will not order that marker yet. Yeah, I could go to Proline and just not talk. And then, although I don't think, I don't know if my recognition level is that high. I think I could go to Axial Fest. I could go to Proline by the Fire and talk all day, and there might be 3 people there that would recognize my voice. Sell my kidneys to go to Proline by the Fire. I mean, the pictures from last year were kind of enough to tempt me, at least. Yes, I am gonna. Well, not the motor. I'm gonna do the transfer case thing that I did on my Marlin to get it up out of there, because this is a giant fish hook. What happened to the creepy spider sticker build? I think it's almost ready. Like, all the electronics are hooked up. It's wired up. It's got its fusion in it. It's got its radio hooked up. I've started assembling the bumpers. There's the back bumper. I've started assembling the bumpers. I've gotten to the point on it where I've bought 2 sets of brass hexes for it, and neither of them fit. And I have the body trimmed out, and they are not messing around. It is so thick. It's like 060 throughout. I still need to drill the little holes for like mounting the wipers and the fenders and stuff, and then we're gonna single color it. As of today, I'm sitting on copper, but I'm not committed. I don't want to go out and buy more paint. But the body's ready to assemble, and because the body all assembles around it, I can't. I was trying. That's why the bumper, the front grill. Where is it? That's why the front grill is sitting in place. This is how the body actually mounts. I was like, is there a way that I can ghost ride this? Not really, because the fenders have to go on, and then these have to go on. So 1 millimeter is a 25th of an inch, and a 50th. 1.5. 2 millimeters. 1/12th of an inch. Yeah, I believe 1.5 millimeter would be accurate. I know. What are they called? I wanted to say Biddy Design, but it's not Biddy Design. Delta Plastic. Delta Plastic makes some 2 millimeter thick bodies. They are tanky. Absolutely tanky. Racing Green and Copper? No 2 colors. It's getting 1 color. Well, it's getting 2 colors. It's going to get black and then a color, because it's going to get the black bed and it's going to get the little black parts in the interior and black backing, but the inside, I'm just leaning towards copper because I have a little bit of a can and then I have a full can. So I'm sure that I have enough. All right. Oh, gonna have to fire up fire this up. A 30-second. Yeah. I would guess. What is? Because 060 is a 16th of an inch. Yeah. Candy orange would be great, but I don't have any. I moved my receiver box up just so it didn't touch the body and used servo tape for mount it. I didn't need lots of extensions. Yeah, my because that, where is he? Oh my god. Every time I pick it up, I have forgotten that it is an absolute tank. The bottom is so flat that I have to run the battery all the way at the very back of this, or the body won't go down. So that's why I'm sitting here trying to figure out. I mean, honestly, I think I'm going to have to. We're going to cut that off one way or the other. I think I'm going to have to resolder these wires in a more vertical configuration. Yeah, it's got to go right there. Is this going to be long enough? Ooh. If just. Yeah, but then this is definitely long enough. Yeah, and then I'm only going to do one extension for the servo. Just zip tie that up. I bought a, where's it at? I bought the big extension bag. The big one. There's like 19-inch extensions in there. Want to do me a quick favor? I'm building a Sportsman. What's the width and wheelbase of Sporty Kinda? Oh my god. How do we let him get away with a 3-pound body? I mean, I know it looks cool, but it doesn't change the fact that it's 3 pounds. 3 pounds! He's not super wide. Outside to outside, 260. Like this, 260. Maybe a little over 260. I don't remember if he's pinched in the rear. No, 260. And then Wibble base. I'd call it 330. 330, maybe, well, I don't know if it's dynamic. We're just setting it on the top of the other guy here. It doesn't look like it. I might go as high as 334. And he's not overwhelmingly long. I mean, I have other rigs here that have a longer wheelbase than 334. I haven't driven this guy in a minute. We need to get... There's a lot of rigs I haven't driven in a minute. How are the FCX10 and Scottsdale bumpers compare? I'm thinking about putting the alloy FMS ones on the Scottsdale. Well, the Scottsdale... I gotta put this back. I don't have enough room. And then I gotta walk back over here. I feel like the building's too big all of a sudden. So, I don't know. I've never looked at them up close. Very similar. I don't know how similar the mounting is. So this guy mounts on 3 vertical tabs. And this guy mounts he's got like this bumper actually mounts to the chassis. So, I mean, I guess what you're asking is, could you do a chassis mounted bumper? I mean, I guess. Ooh, RC four-wheel drive has aluminum bumpers now. Yeah. If you wanted to put the bumpers from one on the other, there's going to be some cutting. You're going to be cutting something. Somebody's getting cut to get them to fit. How do you keep the heat sinks on your AM32 ESCs? You go on Amazon or your selected choice for purchasing things like this, and you get a roll of thermal tape, double-sided thermal tape. I think on these guys, the Rhino V40s and the Rhino V80s, I think I have one that the heatsink hasn't just fallen off of. So then you wipe that stuff off, you put this on, and then this is for like gluing down heatsinks on processors in computers. I've never had one fall off. And this is the smallest roll you can buy. It was about $10, and I should be able to tape them back on into infinity. I was not doing a thumbs up. Just thought I was doing a thumbs up. Plans for the winch. Here, let me tell you. Let me tell you about the winch. The winch is very big. Like, it's like very big. I wonder if we have a fake. There should, one of these drawers. Yeah, okay. So like, here's the little winch that comes on like an Ecto, the fake element winch. Like, this winch is enormous. This is an 1/8 scale winch. It's, I wanted to say 3 inches, but I want to make sure. It's bigger than that. This winch is almost 3.5 inches across. So this is going to have to, go on something like nearly 1/8 scale. Like, this is probably very nearly as wide. We'll grab this guy again. We're really cluttering it up. So there's a Phoenix bumper. Like, that winch is nearly as wide as a Phoenix bumper. That winch is humongous. Now I have a winch for RoboKitty. If RoboKitty had a place to mount a winch, which she definitely does not. But yeah, it's so big. We're gonna find a place to put it. But that is like, I was expecting that, and that's a big winch. Now I gotta try to shove it all back in its bag, or it'll end up like the receiver that I can't find. I saw a shirt you did back where you did the Endura Jeep pivot. What was the wheel? That is sitting atop a straight up TRX4 Sport. So that was dead 313 on the wheelbase. It was stock links, stock everything underneath. That was just a TRX4. Oh, there's 2 motors in that thing? Oh, man. Makes me want to try it even more. Oh. That is not a light thing. That is a heavy thing. On the back of Jolly Green. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. All right. Oh, yeah. There's no way I can solder on camera my leads. Well, guy's got his 55 out. He used to bring it out about once a week. Now he brings that thing out like once a day. I mean, I get it. He loves his car. That's fine. It's absolutely fine. It is loud though. But I've had loud cars in my days. I can't hate on him too much. The toothy Fairleads. I don't get it either. I have seen them in real life. Like someone intentionally put that on a Jeep, and I'm like, God, really, guy? A choice was made. Who am I to question taste? The customer is always right in matters of taste. So nobody's going to try to talk that guy out of a toothy Fairlead. I got that connector really, really hot. Yeah, 55 Chevy. The guy, okay, so here's my house, and here's the guy that lives across the street from me. He used to race 8th scale buggy back in the days. And then here's the guy next to him. He drives a Subaru Forester, and he's pretty old. And then there's the guy right next to him that is the first 2-story house. I think it's the only 2-story house on the other side of the street. And he's got a 55. He's got a Bel Air 55 Chevy, and he's like, it makes the noises. So we're here, and he's right over there. And my yard is the width of these 2 yards, because these are newer houses built in the late 80s, and mine is very old house. So it's realistically more like he's like right there, because, yards are tiny now, if you get a yard at all. Toothy Fairlead to go with the Evil Eye Jeep grill. Man, the one that looks like the disappointment emoji, I never thought I would see one of those like out in the real world. But you go somewhere. I still haven't gotten to see my oldest son got to see, it was down in LA and saw a Cybertruck in person. And I still haven't seen one out here yet. I'm surprised. There are so many Teslas in California. I thought for sure we would have seen a Cybertruck already. There's a guy up the street that's got like a Lamborghini Gallardo, but no Cybertrucks. I love a loud V8 and I don't even have one. Yeah, I mean, if your vehicle sounds good, if it doesn't sound like a clapped out Mustang, I have no problems with the loudness. And it's not like he's ripping it. He's not just ripping it up and down the street. That car is just loud. That's like straight pipe. That thing is loud. So we will allow it. We will make sure I soldered those on right. Yes. We will allow it to a degree. I haven't reloaded the page, so it says 1 like. Yeah, I can't, I don't even know where to look. I can't see that. I can see concurrent viewers and chat rate. I don't know what that is. And then there's a view number next to that. And I have no idea what that means. Well, neither of these have bullets? Was there any bullets in here? Those are big 4s. We might need 4s to cover the little bit of extra distance. Saw the Cybertruck in Portland. Yeah. The videos I've seen on like Instagram where you can see a Cybertruck like with something to give relative scale is pretty big. Have you ever tried the SCX 10.2 clone chassis for $109? Here's the thing about 10.2 clone chassis. There's a gajillion of them. And I really don't see the point in buying fake C-channel chassis. If you're going to buy an aftermarket chassis, you might as well get flat plate, something LCG. What are these clapped out Mustangs you speak of? Because C channels are not expensive. You can get real. Like I've got. So here's a base camp. Not built. Because I only needed the motor, and then like still in the plastic Vanquish rails. C channels are cheap and easy to come by. So I've never found the motivation to buy a C channel rig as like C channels right there. You can get them. I mean, you can get this chassis. You can get a VS410 for $100 with all the plastics. Back on clapped out Mustangs. Here's what you do here in America. If you can't afford a Dodge, if you can't afford a Challenger, Hellcat, something like that, you get a Mustang. And then you take it to the nearest place and you get an obnoxious exhaust put on it, and you do nothing else performance-wise. Nothing. It's still whatever the factory horsepower numbers are. And if you can't afford it, it doesn't even have a V8 in it. So you got like a V6 Mustang, and oh, here comes the 55's coming back. And then you rev it up and down the street loudly, so that everyone within earshot hates you. And that was Kevin. But Kevin decided, I don't know, maybe he got a new girl. I don't know. I don't look too far into it. Oh, he lit him up a little bit. He got an F-150. Got to stay in that Ford family. And it was the Roush edition, if that means anything. It doesn't mean anything to me. Which means it came with an exhaust, and he dealt with that exhaust for a couple months, and then he just got a new exhaust on it, and I think I wouldn't surprise anybody if I were to tell you that it sounds, not to be indelicate, but it sounds like a big old bag of ass, is what it sounds like. To the point where I think Kevin might actually acknowledge that it sounds like that it sounds like ass, because I never hear him ripping up and down the street in it. So maybe he's, I don't know, maybe he's had a breakthrough, some kind of realization, and he knows that it doesn't sound good. Because it does not. We get the new Mustangs here, but the people buying them don't put pipes on it. Well, see, you got to realize that you can get a Honda Accord that costs as much as a Mustang here. So people, there's a very specific consumer base that buys Mustangs, because that specific consumer base has kind of ruined Mustangs for everyone else. If you liked Mustangs and you wanted a Mustang, too bad. Because if somebody sees you get out of one, they're going to be like, oh, God, look at this guy. I have no idea what Kevin does or how he spends his days. I just know that he likes his car real loud. And I assume he's young. He's younger. And we all, to some degree or another, I think we all went through it. So, I mean, I get it. I get it. It's just, I think driver returning on foot. What's forward backwards? Driver returning on foot. Also, if you ever watch those things where it's mechanics, where they ask the mechanics, like, what's the worst car to work on? What's the car you would never buy? Stuff like that. I saw one where they asked tow truck drivers, what car do you pick up more than any other? And to a man, every single tow truck driver was like Ford Explorer, Ford Explorer, Ford Explorer. And I don't even see that many Ford Explorers out there anymore. So what does that say? The new Camaros too aren't boats. Ford puts a switch in the new Mustang control how much you want to piss your neighbors off. You know, you can go and you can lay down rubber stripes on the road for all I care. Just don't do it. Don't do it on the street that you live on. Please don't do it on the street that you live on at like 10 o'clock at night. Because, I mean, my Scion is still parked in the carport over there, and it's not the quietest car on the road. But I'm never going to go full throttle and open it all the way up on the street that I live on. That's not a good way to endear yourself to the populace. Sounds like your Mustang guys are our Audi guys here. Yeah, it's like Mercedes in Europe, right? Like over here, Mercedes is like, ooh, fancy. And over in Europe, people are like, Mercedes, those are taxi cabs. You don't see a lot of Ford Explorers because they're all in the back of tow trucks. Straight pipe mud trucks around here in the South. Yeah. What? And I was a car enthusiast for almost my whole life leading up until, let me think, probably like 2018, 2017, 2018. It just, I'm not going to say it died. I'm going to say that it got killed. I do not look forward to, I no longer look forward to getting in a car to go somewhere because the traffic is going to be murderous everywhere you go. The movement of things like Teslas and Priuses had completely taken over. So we truly have a populace that deserves to have their driver's licenses rescinded because these people cannot drive. They can't drive. It is terrifying out there. And honestly, my motivation to get back on the bike and get on the road gets lower every time I have to drive somewhere in a car because I see how those people are around cars and they're never going to see me on a bike. Yes, you are correct, a Scion TC. I have a 2005 Indigo Ink Pearl Scion TC. It is sitting in the carport. I just crossed like 90,000 miles. That's how much I drive. That car is, oh my God, she's going to be 19. No, I take that back. I got that car on March 11th. So she is 19. V8 Supercar Racing Series, but they literally are racing taxis. Yeah, I am a toy car enthusiast now. And I still don't want to drive them outside the yard. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. I got to go bullets. Ordinarily, I direct wire on here, but if we're gonna put that speed control way down at that end, you know what I should do? I should re-angle these wires first to make sure that they're gonna reach. There it is. Yeah. Just me over here driving my wife's 2018 HRV because my Durango is too thirsty. I get into RC because I can't afford any of the cars I truly like to own as a car enthusiast. Yeah. Same. Yeah. I don't know. I miss COVID to a degree because both on the bike and in the car, nobody was on the road. And now there's a definite Southern California feel because there's traffic. There's traffic 24 hours a day. Ooh, he's got a ute. We don't have, well, I mean, yeah, we kind of really don't have those here. We got pickup trucks. This is America. Read your Bible. America was founded by pickup trucks. But yeah, utes look cool. And is it CC, is it CC Hand? Is that how I'm supposed to say it? They do that they have that ute bed for the Phoenix. Man, that thing looks cool. Let's see if I angled those enough. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice. It's nice. Oh, and that's plastic. Good. We don't have to worry about it shorting out and burning the car to the ground. In putting a computer out here so that I'm not doing this on a laptop was one of the best, and I don't have a lot of great decisions. I don't have a lot of decisions that are overwhelmingly inspired, but that was a great one. And then digging out a second monitor, this ancient 25-inch, and putting it in portrait mode so that I can read the chat. Man, that might have been the best idea. It's right here. It's right here. I can just read it. Yeah, it's that availability thing in it. We want the things we can't have. So to us, things like if somebody had a Holden here, had gotten one imported, people would be like, whoa, because we don't have it. Meanwhile, everybody in Australia is like, that's our version of the Honda Civic. Like everybody's got that. It's not fancy here. But by the same token, if you're not a Holden, but you're a person, and you come here and you have a New Zealand accent or an Australian accent or any accent at all, well, I mean, not at all. Mexican is not going to get you very far. Mexico's right over there. But if you've got English, Australian, New Zealand, any of those accents, you come here. Welcome to exotic land. You are now fancy. And people will be like, and people will whisper in hushed tones, "Did you hear that guy talk? He sounds just like Thor." The American car market is so weird. It's the American hobby market is not dissimilar in that I feel like there's some sort of corporate collusion going on in the background because there's just stuff we don't get. Like MST and Cross and stuff like that, you can kind of get it, but like we never got Holden. We never got a lot of things. And they did try. I mean, they tried to bring some brands here, and they just, either failed spectacularly or just didn't make it for whatever reason. It's hard to get Americans to trust new things for whatever reason. Hello from Florida. Hello, Florida. I've made a mess so wide I can't get my They thought I was Australian in Vegas and wouldn't believe that I'm Welsh. That's because in Las Vegas, if you try to tell them that you're from Wales, you're really going to get a look. I hate new things, but I'm autistic, so I have an excuse. I think we are all predisposed to not like new things, because new is absolutely, unquestionably not a guarantee of better. Not a whole lot of French cars running around here these days. You could go a month here without seeing a French car. Because this is California, where we still operate under the fake guise of, like, ooh, look how earth conscious we are. So we have to get our smog checks and everything else. And when you're out on the road on a given day, seeing a car that's even 10 years old is almost rare. Le car. We had some Peugeots. Like, you'd see those every once in a while. Fiat is Italian. And, I mean, it's all muddied now because we've got Stellantis owns everything now, don't they? Isn't everything just owned by Stellantis? Can't remember the last time I saw a Renault. In Southern California, the 90s? Last time I saw a Renault. You don't see much other than that SUV. What is it, the C70? You don't really see Volvos here either. So there's no Scandinavian cars here either. Well, I just cut those long enough. Ordinarily, I would use a heat gun for this, but we're operating on the fly. So we're just gonna use fire. All kids love fire. I didn't melt it too bad. That's pretty all right. Citron. I'm trying to think. And it's not unique to just the French. I'm trying to think. The last time I saw a Daihatsu, it might be 90s as well, early 2000s. Plenty of BMWs out here. BMWs have the same sort of reputation that Mustangs do, only kind of worse. There's a particular consumer base that buys BMWs here as well, and it is frowned upon. There's a lot of memes about how BMW drivers don't know what the lever that makes the turn signal. They don't know what that lever's for because they never signal. But I mean, all of them have been dwarfed by the Tesla. If you drive a Tesla and you are a normal, average, functioning human being, more power to you, because the stereotype of the Southern California Tesla driver is that dude doesn't go under 90. He's going as fast as humanly possible. It's like Priuses in Arizona. Everybody in Arizona driving a Prius is doing 100 miles an hour. You know, for economy. So yeah, there's a lot of, you have to remember, when you're talking about America, you're talking about the land of Ford versus Chevy, where you're only allowed to like one or the other. You're either a Ford guy or a Chevy guy. And people develop particularly strong opinions about cars. Some of them are probably delightfully misplaced, but people develop some real strong opinions about cars here. Yeah, I do like a nice video of an electric car fire. And as an owner of far more electric cars than most people will ever be an owner of, I'm not anti-electric car, but I've known too many guys that are detailers, or too many guys that are mechanics, or too many guys that work for that actually work for Tesla, like in parts, in the parts department, and they're like, just don't do it. They're like, don't do it. I talked to a guy that works in the parts, the Southern California parts distribution warehouse for Tesla, and he goes, nobody that works in that building drives a Tesla. And I'm like, I've seen the fit and finish. My buddy was a detailer for 7 years, and he goes, it's not even paint. It's like if you spill milk on a counter, the thickness that milk flows out to, that's the thickness of the paint on the Tesla. And I'm like, how do they keep getting away with this? What's the negative of driving the rear axle with a high pinion? They claim that it counteracts anti-squat, that it will negate the effects of the anti-squat in the chassis, or at least negate the effect of a link riser. I can't speak to the accuracy of this or not, because I don't know how specifically I would isolate all those variables to test it. I don't know. Because I don't think it can cancel out the effect completely. I think that it can probably diminish the effect of big anti-squat, which is, I think, why I get away with, well, and this is also not just high pinion, but overdrive, underdrive. So rear underdrive. So I'm half answering a question correctly. I had never actually specifically heard the negative of driving the rear axle with a high pinion. I was talking about underdrive. So I was conflating two things together, though I would assume they would kind of behave similarly, but I would not know how to test that to isolate it one way or the other. So maybe there isn't. If someone has mentioned in the past that there is a negative to a high pinion rear axle, I would like to know what that is. Could you test it on a build? Everything AR44 or that uses AR44 gears, so AR44s, AR45s, F10s, they're all high pinion, all of them. So if there's an overall negative to a high pinion rear axle, I guess people are just ignoring it. I'm trying to think of center pinion other than element. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do a swap. I guess you could do it with a Diamond Pro, because that axle can be used as both element center pinion and AR44 high pinion. But, I mean, I can drive two rigs side by side, one with a centered pinion and one with a high pinion, and notice absolutely no difference at all. Because it's going to come down, everything is going to come down to geometry. Torque twist, air quotes, torque twist, all that stuff. Everything is geometry. It's link positions. I mean running the pinion real high. What? Like, so AR44, high pinion, higher than that. The only thing I think would be higher than that would be a worm drive. Or do you mean like really angled? I don't know. I don't know how to get a pinion higher than that. Yeah. Oh, I had missed that one. Ford versus Chevy, Associated versus Losi. Yeah, they're associated and Slosy. Yeah, they're if you had one, you absolutely couldn't have the other. How does link angle affect torque twist? It is both your link setup and it is your shock setup, and I think to some small degree, it is how your gearbox outputs. Because I notice now, okay, all right. Let me talk about torque twist here for a second. Torque twist is not when you're driving along and you hit the gas and you watch it go like that. That's not torque twist. That's body roll. Okay, that's just gonna happen. Torque twist is when you're climbing up like this. You get up in an angle like this, and when this wheel gets bound up, it goes warp, warp. It goes like that and pulls this over like that. That is torque twist. That's the torque driving it over. It's basically, it's cross weight multiplied. Because naturally, when this tire gets loaded, it transfers its load to this tire. That's how crossweight works. It's kind of counterintuitive. But Diablo, during the Diablo build series, when I took out when he blew up his gearbox at Mavericks and we replaced it with the Amazon FMM, the Creeper T clone, he was torque twisting badly, really badly. And I corrected it by changing his geometry because I tried to just slap in a new transfer case and FMM and not change anything else. So we adjust the shock angle and the springing and the link mount positions, and now he doesn't torque twist anymore. Hey. I mean, how much is off? I mean, you've been off work a little bit. Like, if you've been here, let us pick. I guess I'll use. No, I'm trying to figure out who to use as the. I think this one has like 5 radios on it. We're on ID08. Yeah, we'll be going to Model 6. I separated the rear links a little. Yeah, I put more anti-squat into it. And that guy's tuned down a bit. He's only got like 20% rear underdrive, which, according to the internet, is supposed to completely negate anti-squat settings, but I mean, it doesn't. There's what the internet says, and then there's what I notice when driving. And I don't know. So when shortening the rear lower links, the pinion gets higher, right? Oh, the pinion angle? Yeah. Instant center above the plane is in much torque twist. Instant center below the CJ, no or less torque twist. You know, I've never looked at it because my goal is to push that moment center, the instant center forward, is to push it forward. And positive anti-squat, negative anti-squat. So I think we're mostly negative because we're below the plane almost all the time. Now, I mean, I guess I could figure out a way to set the links to where the CG's way up here, and then we see if that torque twists more. And honestly, that might have been what happened with Diablo. I just didn't look at it that closely. I just rearranged his link position and took it away. Which is, you know, that's on me. Sometimes I don't do the due diligence. I don't show things closely enough. I just start moving links around. Hey, a charged battery. What? All right. We got our nice braided double antennas. Because, you know, we need that antenna with 600 meters of range. 2, 1. I'll do it without an extension for right now. I just need to get that servo centered so I can get a horn on it. Throw a battery on here. Ooh. Let's make a wild guess for direction of rotation. It's not really going to matter. let's also see, is it going to be long enough? Oh, yeah. Yeah. And zip tie the crap out of that. Yeah, try wacky link positions. What broke on Ruby? Nothing. I don't think. I haven't broken anything on Ruby. I don't think. Do you know something I don't know? I don't think I broke anything. We're not even going to calibrate it. We're gonna fire it up. Oh, I need a pointy. Calm down. Calm down. Okay. That's not tightened down at all. I'm glad I didn't glad I didn't put any juice on that. I thought these were tightened down a little bit. It's too tight. There it is. I'm taking a whole installment away from myself here. Boy, it gets into a real tinnitus phase up there at the very top end. There's a real scream at the end of that. Oh, Miata Commuter points out, yes, that one. It says up at the top that that's not Ruby. That's Ruby's sister from another Mister. That was out in Pennsylvania. Somebody was like, I'm going to send it, and they took the front end of that thing out, upper control arm pull. Yeah, just JB Weld, man, just JB Weld it back together. Yeah. This is the 9i mod, which are pretty loud. I don't know why. There's nothing specifically different between the 9i mod. Do I have one around here? I'm trying to think. Somebody has got the glow-backed. Somebody's got the different version of that, and it doesn't do that at the top end. It doesn't do that. I don't know what it is, but those 9i mods, they get a little noisy right up at the top. Oh yeah, Gears, it's usually the ESC. It is definitely not the ESC. That noise is determinedly coming from the motor, and I regret this already, but I can prove it to you. Like, that's all coming from the motor end. Oh, that gets up inside you. Yeah, that is 100% the motor. The Rhinos don't. The ESC makes no noise. It is dead silent. Yeah, it's not PWM noise because it only comes in at the top. And when you're getting that pulse width noise, it's usually right. Ooh. It's usually right there. And when we get in that real low speed mode, that's just gear noise. There's no noise from the motor at all. Yeah, the scream is definitely out of that motor. Yeah, like a dentist drill. And it does have the screw on the front. We could put a propeller on it, really get some noise out of it. Put a little prop on the front. Yeah, it's this motor. You know what? What do I have? I think the only other motors I have are that wouldn't help. Here's the exact same motor but in a different KV. Yeah, the 9i mod is the same as the Surpass. There's a Surpass just like it. I have two of those 1850s. This is a 1450, 1470, 1400. Yeah, I have no reasonable explanation for why that get. Although, how often are we up in that zone? Well, I'm gonna have to zip tie this thing to death. Let's see. Nope, it wants reversed. We'll see. We'll see if calibrating it makes it any quieter at all. Reverse throttle, reverse. So that means I am going to have to reverse the plugs. Oh, yeah. I mean, one of the great things about the Rhino and these Outrunner setups is when you do calibrate it, it had such a stutter at that speed. I mean, look at the drive shaft speed. I don't think the output shaft between the gearbox and T-case is doing 10 RPM. You can go proper slow. We need to reverse this one, although, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We just swap in a 2 to get it to rotate the correct direction again. And I do have to hook it up to a baby PC. Oh, so smooth. Woo! Maybe louder. Now that we're programmed, now that we're calibrated, we're using the whole 100% of the trigger sweep. Yeah, that top end is. Oh, Erwin, you have this off, have the speed control off, and while your radio is powered up, you pull to full throttle, and then when you power it up, it'll go boing, boing, beep-doop, and then you go to full reverse, and it will go beep-doop, and then you set it to neutral, and it will calibrate neutral, and then you're done. It surprises me that, and most speed controls that don't have a power button, they program the same way. Like castles, that's how you calibrate castle controllers as well. You hold the trigger at full, you plug the battery in, and it'll go through the calibration sequence. And it really does change the. I mean, that's going pretty slow. Quiet down the gear mesh. The silencer. Just so you know, it's not the motor making all that ruckus. Yeah, outrunner in a hold the trigger full throttle and turn it on. We need to do just one extension here, and it doesn't even need to be a very long one. Yeah, that's gonna mount right like that. That's gonna mount right like that. Yeah, it's gonna be gold. It's gonna be absolutely golden. And that will reach nicely over to the battery. Yeah, now I have to go check mine. Yeah, when people that didn't know about the calibration for the Rhinos and other speed controls, when they calibrated for the first time, it's often in reverse. So you gotta switch your plugs around. It's almost always in reverse. And then they're like, "Whoa, it's like super smooth now." They do pretty well, honestly, uncalibrated. We're gonna use all the zip ties. That's why I buy them in 800 bags. Sometimes I wish my fingers were just a little more human-sized. I wish I didn't have to use tweezers to perform every normal-handed function. But here we are. All the zip ties. They're inexpensive. It's all good. Let's get another one through right here. Don't like using bullets, but sometimes 'tis a necessary evil. They went under. You know, as much as I want to slap more zip ties on that, I think I'm going to go under as well. Yeah. I'm going to have to do this more, with more thinkings. So what we can do is I think we can get this stuff isolated enough. I just want to see. Put one screw into this. I want to see how the body fits. It's an RC four-wheel drive. One of the most important things is how does the body fit? Nope, I'm going to put both screws in and this fuel cell ain't going to stay together. All right, get this in here. I think I have found one of the metas, though. One of the secrets is I had my coffee drink before, so I'm energized, and thankfully I had the coffee drink before because I keep telling myself I'm gonna take a day off, and then I'm sitting there and I go, I have too much stuff to do, so I go and I do the stuff, and then I get really tired. My right shoulder is not great from painting, I'm assuming. I've done too much painting the last couple days. That's probably on enough. We'll use our wobbler to get that on there. Yeah, anything smaller than 10 scale. I've related the story before about a buddy of mine brought a friend of his has multiple Losi Mini T's and brought them over because they all had like broken shock towers and stripped out bits and pieces and stuff. Those are not fun to work on at all. So to all of you out there with like SCX 24s, more power to you. More power to you. I cannot. Those like, what are they? 1.2 millimeter screws. Yes, Mr. Hades, you will definitely, yeah, that's where you're going to notice it the most, which is, I know, sort of a funny thing to say with crawlers. That's where we spend most of our time. But yeah, when it's recalibrated, it's going to be a lot better at the very low speed. That is the toy car equivalent of turning it off and turning it back on again, recalibration. I often tell people if you've made any change at all, just recalibrate. Recalibrate the speed control, and it's likely it's going to be and it's going to improve. I am going to stick the. I am offering up. I spoke to him before when he was talking about he ordered the 0.5 hex. He had ordered the tusks already, but they are back ordered. And I was like, well, I have a set of tusks here that have been driven a couple times since the quick view. I mean, they are basically brand new. And I was like, I'll throw those on there. And more than likely, by the time this thing is ready to roll out, they will probably, the replacement ones will probably have shown up. We are going to put regular lock nuts on this because I just want to put those other ones in a bag so I don't have to worry about losing them. Yeah, the only acceptable sub 10th scale for me. Oh, HVT03 is going to bed. In Spain, it is late. Yeah, the only acceptable sub 10th scale is the UTB 18 because it's not 18 scale. It's like 10th scale basically. It runs a 10th scale body on it. The minis. I mean, I get it. For all y'all that live where there's like, where the weather is more angry, and I get it. But I live where the weather is not angry. So we keep them large here. These wheels should look horrendous with that Scottsdale. It's funny. It's funny, this thing. Because the suspension, that zip tie is a problem. That zip tie is also... This is how I go through zip ties so fast. I just put them on and I just cut them all off. Because I need to... Yeah, that's just going to make it. Maybe if I bend this down a little more... Yeah, I got to put that first zip tie down real low. We'll get an extension on that. After we zip tie it down, we're going to need a little short one, like a little 4-inch extension. We'll just pipe these out the fender well for right now. And now grab the 3-pounder. Ooh! Forest fire season looks kind of angry. We definitely have a fire season. We definitely have that. And the question that we ask every year, particularly in years when we get a good amount of rain, is how bad is it going to burn this year? And we got a lot of rain this winter, so I live deep in the suburbs. So forest fires don't really make it to where we are. Forgot about the fenders. The offset on these wheels, I should probably just swap them to some other wheel. The offset on these wheels is too inboard. I think. I'm pretty sure. The inner fenders look really cool, and they turn getting the body on into something of a nightmare. Oh, there we go. It's like 2 minutes to get the body on. It should have a accessible battery tray from the bottom because this is evil. Oh, 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. There we go. Yeah, those tires are really inboard. Yeah, the Canyon looks very green at the moment. Yeah, really green. And the lawn mowing and weed eating is near constant. Actually, you know what? Some dude is probably running that. Like those don't look that weird at all. I do like the profile that the Injora inserts. It makes you cringe. Put it in here and put the body on. It is nightmare. The pinch. The reason that Pentabee's body falls off is because he doesn't have all the stuff on the inside holding that pinch together. So when this slides on those little pins, you're not shucking the body. 10 minutes ago, I was convinced we would not see a runner. No, this guy's, he needs the cleanup, right? Those wires all need to be zip tied down, and then need to get the extension in. You know, the fun stuff, the real fun stuff, the stuff that I had just done on the Spider. So that's like 30 minutes of getting those wires tightened up. But yeah, actually, I don't know. Maybe the offset on that wheel is pretty all right. Could definitely go wider though. Maybe another 3. It's covered in sawdust, so it's really fingerprinty now. Oh yeah, look at that. Got like a fingerprint patina. It's okay. It's okay. We get down here. Go like this. This is how you fix it. That's the problem with this thing. It's so pretty that you have to clean it every time you mount the body. And then you don't want to drive it. See? Oh, that's a good scuff. Somebody's going to have to wax this. Not me. Somebody. That's better. It's shinier now. We cleaned it up. Bed's still full of dust. Yeah, so my worry was that it was going to be some great amount of time before we could get another installment of this thing out there running. But no, we're definitely going to be able to get this thing out there running. As it's got wheels and tires and motor and speed control and all the, it's got all the bits. I am desperately going to have to dig around and find, there is a receiver in here somewhere. There's a receiver somewhere in this building. I like the Element 155 grabbers and Trail vintage wheels. Oh, on the Bug. Yeah. Get a set of grabbers here. Oh yeah. To whoever's still present. If you're all bubble juice. That's why when I build a new one, I have a kid roll it down the stairs. First scratch, out of the way. It's the same way with bikes, man. When you get a new bike, it's about getting that first scratch. And when I painted a frame like jade green with the Kirin Gold flake on it. And as I was wrapping the handlebars, the bars went dink and hit the top tube and put a scratch in it. And I was like, well, got that out of the way. Oh, 155 grabbers on this? Don't I have 155? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess. It's already so low, though. I've said it before. Aside from bounty hunters, there aren't really tires that I like to go at under 419. Well, bounty hunter and Rovers. Hot Buddy Rovers. And the applications for those 393 Rovers is small. I mean, you couldn't put them on this. I don't know what you can put them on, really. So I'll probably do an offering thing coming up because, like, the tires that came off the Pentabee, like these, not only did these never get driven, they never touched the ground. He came out of the box and those came off. I have the keep it around set of pin seekers, but I'll be getting rid of those. We're building up a box of radios. I think we have 2 or 3 G4Ps, and we've still got that XP130. I need to get rid of that. There's stuff that I need to move out of here to make more room. I had something else that needs to get moved out, and I've I've already forgotten. Oh, if anybody wants to punish themselves with velociraptors, they are free of charge. But otherwise, they go on the skewers, and I mean, they're pretty much a skewer tire. I just know that I don't know. People will take stuff that ordinarily I would skewer. All right, we've got a claimant for the pin seekers. Yeah, I'll bag them up just like that. I should still have your address in my shipping app. I would try to open up that window, but then I thought better of it. I'm not going to try to open up that window. So I've got tomorrow's episode is already up. It's already uploaded and it's ready for tomorrow. And I'll try to get this thing together and get it filmed maybe for Sunday, maybe for Monday. I don't know. Oh, Overdrive RC says that they'll take the Velociraptors. All right, yeah. Anyone who says that they need something, shoot me an email so that I can keep things straight. Otherwise, I will forget. I'm fixating. All I can do, I'm just trying to think, what did I do with that receiver and what did I do with that envelope full of Kamoy tape? Because I do have stuff that I would like to paint. We have loose, loamy soil. Yeah, I mean, yeah, on soil, I imagine the Velociraptors would be great. Oof, boy. Yeah, and also this will help, like, I don't know. I'm hoping it will be an interesting episode, this one, when this guy gets out back on the rocks, because I'm not feeling, the blues are really firm, and this is really heavy. So this is kind of the unofficial test of the blues. Maybe they need cut. I would not think you would have to cut these at how heavy this is. What was it? 8.5 pounds? These should be right there. But man. Oh, Crawler Canyon at Gmail. Yep. I've put it somewhere safe. I put that receiver somewhere where I would be sure not to lose it. And now I can't find it. The receiver and the rolls of tape. And the rolls of tape are worse because they're still in the big Amazon padded mailer. Oh, all of the British people are going to bed. So I have, luckily, I stayed fairly well. I was fairly self-contained today. So the mess on the bench is not nearly the level of mess I ordinarily generate on the bench. Wicked One finally made it to alive. Well, about that. Unless you've been here the whole time, in which case, yes, you did. But we're definitely idling down. Folks are going to bed. Folks are going to bed early. It's only 11 o'clock in the UK. It's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. And I am going to have to do everything in my power to convince myself to just go inside and sit down. Because I'm painting the trim on the shed out there. And, you get the right music on. And you just kind of zone out and you just paint and you don't think about it. And I'm being very Elsa about the whole thing. If green paint gets on the gray paint, I'm using a paint color called Rock Bottom, Sherwin-Williams, for the trim. If I get green on the gray or gray on the green, I really don't care. I really don't care. I just know that here in the desert, the wood has to be painted in order for it to survive. Counterproductive Productions. Yeah, it's unfortunate how good that truck looks. Because it's better to not know. And because, like I said, when you put it next to an FCX10, it makes the FCX10 look like the Temu version. And it's very Chevy. The hood won't stay open on its own. Don't touch. Yeah, I mean, what a great looking thing with its 3-pound body. I'm very anxious to see it on an Outrunner, because with my Marlin, I only very recently motivated myself to put Fusion SE in it. It was on a brush motor, and what an improvement getting that Fusion in there. Just that amount of control, and the Fusion has a bit more torque to manage the pork. More torque for the pork, and this is not exactly a lightweight boy either. I still am driving it like it's too precious, even though I'm scratching it up a good bit. I don't like scratching up other people's things, and then they always send me emails and are like, would you stop? Just drive it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh. Yeah, and speaking of bodies that cost too much money, I note now on AMain, when I was browsing AMain, you can now buy the CJ7 body, all the pieces together for like $88. And I bought all the pieces a la carte like 4 months ago, and I probably spent about $150 and still haven't painted it. So I could have saved like $60. But that is sunk cost. The hood needs to fold when you close it. You're not the first person to say that. In order for it to be truly scale accurate, there's like a cross beam. The hood just needs to fold right over at that spot to be full Chevy. Like I say, I've never owned a pickup truck, so I don't know all of the background pickup truck stuff. Oh, Shaker MT is on the roads of America somewhere, but is still partaking in the 404 chat on Facebook. Yeah, good old Shaker MT. Otherwise, he'd be here. So, I accomplished a great many things. We've got the Pentabee. He needs to go out and do a mushabout. We'll do a mushabout for something. Maybe I can convince myself to do an old school Wheelin' Wednesday type installment where we'll drive that guy around to test him out, see how he feels now that he's not on, megalithics. This guy will be getting another installment. I pointed and I'm not in frame. This guy will be getting another installment testing out on these. There's a little bit. And much like leaves, I think that these inserts need to break in a bit. They feel very firm. They feel so firm. And I ordered another set of the greens, potentially for Pentabee. I want to see how it does on the ancient Proline foam, but it'll be nice to have a backup. So, I got rigs to put away. I've got 3 rigs to put away. But other than that, we just we surged right through. And I think my favorite type of installment of the live is when we're just here, just doing the stuff, just hanging out. We're just doing the things. We're going to make 350,000 frames. There we go. We just had 350,000 frames at 30 frames per second. And we'll get to see this guy go. We'll get to see that guy go. I'm going to finish painting this guy's body. I'm going to finish painting the Raptor. Or, add to the list. I may or may not have ordered another body off of AMain when I was there, which means I have more bodies to paint. I have to find the motivation. I have to find the motivation to paint these damn bodies because there's so many. There's so many. That's why Pentabee didn't get painted and he's just white. Because I didn't want to paint it. I just didn't want to paint it. Oh, I don't want to. It has to be. It's double digits for sure of number of bodies that need to be painted. Just around me, there's like 5 bodies that need to be painted. And I feel like I'm past the point of no return where like just keep going and I'll just never have to paint anything. We're gonna have to paint something eventually. Rigs need to get. That's the only thing stopping this one from being done. It just needs its body painted and the trim. I painted the main color. I need to do the backing color and I need to paint the fenders and stuff. I gotta find that Kamoy tape. I'm gonna find that tape. Oh, Stage Kill is always out of stock. It's always in stock here. So yeah. Tomorrow I have to try to film a couple days worth of episodes. As per usual, I like to put things off as much as possible. If I'm not filming it the morning of, I feel like I have too much time ahead of me. And then I've almost completely remodeled this customer's bathroom listening to your videos. Nice! I am a podcast with pictures. Sometimes they move. Otherwise, it's just like a still background image. And I have to keep reminding myself. The gentleman in Spain who is now asleep would be glad to know that I have to keep reminding myself there are 22 tire tests that need to be updated. 22. So you guys are probably going to have to endure a tire week at some point where it's just like 5 consecutive days of tire tests of tires that never got tested in the current format. Ruptures, Rovers, Deep Woods, all of the tires that have been here long, the holds, the hunks. And for those retests, so we got to think of a different name for them. They're not. It can't just be done as quick views. They are quick views, but they're not because most of these tires have been here in service on rigs for a year or longer, but they were never tested under the new protocols. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna do that, and then we'll fill out that board, and we got to get up to like 50 plus tires tested. So I'm going to clean up the rest of the way, and then instead of going out and painting, which is what I want to do, I think what I'll go do is I'll go and sit down for a while. Sitting down for a while sounds pretty good. Podcast with a color changing light feature. Absolutely right. My wife has this little thing that looks like kind of like a bonsai, but it has roses on it, and they light up different colors. One of my kids bought it for her, and if it wasn't too tall, it would be sitting right here. And it would be doing the color changing thing here because everybody loves bright lights. Have you come up with any more plans for the MB scalar body? I'm not saying quick view redo. Oh yeah, Redux. Everybody loves a Redux. It's gonna be quick view Redux. QVRD 20 up to potentially up to 22 quick view Reduxes coming up. Yes. I can neither confirm nor deny that in the A-main and the emails right up here, the 4th email in my new emails in my inbox says that my A-main order has shipped. I can neither confirm nor deny that one of the items in that order might be MB Scalar related. But it might be. It might not be, but it might be. Because I want to get that thing out there. The Requick. Oh, that's pretty good too. That's pretty good too. Yeah, I'm just looking up at the rack. Right immediately up out of frame is the rack, which is overflowing with tires. And every time I look at a tire, I'm like, yeah, that tire has not been tested on the new format. Bounty Hunters, Ripsaws, Deep Woods, Holds, Hunks, and on. and on. I can do pin seekers. I never did pin seekers, man. We can do them all. I might put my set of pin seekers on my Jeep because I don't need crazy capable. Maybe stretch them on some 2.2s. Okay, I'm thinking too far again. I'm thinking too far ahead. I need to be thinking more now, like of the projects that I should be finishing that are already started. But everybody loves a new project, and everybody hates finishing a project because then that means that that project is done. So it's human nature. I'll chalk it up to human nature. And with that, I will say to you one and all, as a group and a collective, thank you so much for coming by the Canyon. Friday is my favorite day of the week, not just because it's Friday, not just because it's the gateway to the weekend, but because we get to hang out and we get to talk about toy cars and reminisce and just generally while away a couple of hours on a Friday, whatever time it might be on Friday for you, or it might be coming up on Saturday for some of you. This is the best part of my week. And I thank you all so very much for being a part of it. Are you quitting? Well, we have I've looked at the timer below and we are hitting, it's coming up right about on 3:30. That's usually when we wrap it up. I can't wait to get Wheelin' Wednesday back up. Wheelin' Wednesday has been on hiatus. That building is almost done. It is almost done. And the metal shed will be down. And then perhaps I can be cajoled into showing some of the build process to the obstacle that's going up where that shed stands now, where the horrible metal building. There's an obstacle. I already know what it's going to be, but I can take you along for a bit of it if anyone's interested in how the sausage is made. So, perhaps we will see what the future brings us. I thank you all for the very last time. I'm going to clean up the rest of the way. I'm going to go sit down and take a break from after, you get tired talking about toy cars. And if anybody has any ideas or anything that they would like to see specifically, I am a dancing monkey that is here to please you. So if there's something that you would like to see, shoot me an email, hit me on Instagram. If it's a question, if it's an idea for a video, if you'd like to see something tested against something else, that's what I'm here for. And I'm glad to do it. So I'm watching the concurrent viewer just drop. So thanks everybody. I hope to see you during the week. And I hope to see you, of course, here again next week. We are going to sign off here from the Canyon. We will see you again very, very soon.